Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to another episode of the Everything is Bad Newfangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And you might be sitting there going like, oh geez, how is there an episode of Newfangled Motion Picture Show? There's no movies out. Well, you're wrong. There's one. It's Honest Thief. And it's the best movie to release in October.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. It's yeah, before we get all into that, just want to let you know we will do a spoiler-free review. And then at some point along the way, we'll give you a spoiler warning. And the things after that, boy, will they be spoilery. Although this is a pretty predictable movie.
Yeah.
Like I think I can tell you the whole plot, and like you probably wouldn't lose anything from your experience. Like I don't think it would take away from your experience watching the movie if you knew the whole plot going into it.
Yeah, not so much.
So, this movie starring one Liam Neeson.
Pretty much like every movie Liam Neeson's made in the last 10 or 15 years or so.
Except for 1,000 Ways to Die in the West.
That's true.
Liam Neeson is a man with a particular set of skills, who wants to come clean about his particular set of skills.
Yeah. So
he's a thief.
Yeah, he's a bank robber. This is all in the trailer, right? He's a bank robber,
Yeah.
and he decides to come clean, because he's fallen in love, and his conscience won't let him. His conscience won't let him continue with this hanging over him. So he turns himself into the FBI, and some FBI agents take all the money he had stolen, and then are now trying to kill him.
Yep. Because they're like, he's like, look, I'm trying to turn myself in. Why won't you people take me? And they're like, look, we get a person claiming that they were this. Well, what
do they call him? Something bandit, right? The
clean bandit or something like that.
No, it had kind of a dirty connotation to it, right? Like it was kind of like if you had a twisted, dirty mind, it was kind of sexual, right?
I don't recall that being the case. I just remember it was a dumb name.
Yeah, he didn't like the name.
But anyway, he's like, yeah, we get someone like a couple times a year claiming to be that guy. So they send a couple of junior field agents. Also, this has what's his name from Burn Notice?
Jeffrey
Donovan. So it's cool to see him working.
He's got another movie coming out. If it comes out when it's supposed to in November, that Kevin Costner movie. Let Him Go.
Yeah. But anyway, so they send a couple of junior agents, and they are like, look, man, give us something that we can take back to our bosses, and we can get this rolling. But like, you can't just say you're the guy. You got to give us something. So he's like, all right, the money is in the storage unit that I've rented, and gives them the key, and they go and take the money, and they're like, look, we just go back, say he attacked us, we kill him, and then we keep all the cash, and like this whole thing goes away. And one of the guys is like, not real cool.
To, like, get real into in our spoiler-free section.
This isn't a spoiler part, dude. This is in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Anyway, but then he fights him off and gets away, and that's when that's what starts the whole series of events, basically.
Oh, and this movie has a pretty dumb tagline, by the way.
Oh yeah, this movie has basically the worst tagline.
Never steal a man's second chance.
Yeah. I would have just not had a tagline for the movie. Like, I just would have been like,
It was the In-N-Out Bandit.
In-N-Out Bandit, that's right. Anyway, I think if I were like producing this movie, I'd have looked at that and gone, you know what? Maybe we don't need a tagline. Not every movie needs a tagline. Star Wars doesn't have a tagline.
In space, no one can hear you. Pew pew.
So, yeah, but no, this is actually a pretty decent movie, and surprisingly, it takes place in Boston, not like
shot in around Boston.
Yeah, well, they specifically like mention that that's like the Massachusetts FBI field office and stuff, I think, but they actually shot it around Boston
instead of shooting.
But I mean, going into
Canada
this,
and calling it Boston.
Right, going into this, I was expecting us to be like, what was the last movie?
The one with Russell Crowe.
Yeah,
where it was like generic.
It was just some American city.
It was shot in New Orleans, Louisiana. But if you look at the license plates, they just say like America on the license plate.
Yeah, and like they never say the name of the
city they're in or anything.
Yeah, and there's so many of these like kind of shitty or like low tier thrillers that are just in some random city, and like we're not going to tell you what the city is because then it'll be obvious that this isn't that city and is actually Vancouver. So I thought that was actually like, I mean, just the fact that they were like bothered to actually shoot it in and around Boston and set it in Boston, I think is already like higher tier, like bumps it up a couple rungs in the shit tier action movie ladder.
Yeah, actually this movie is a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I
think it actually deserves better than its current.
It's got a 6.2 on IMDb out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's closer to a 7.
Yeah. Like 6.2 to me is solidly in the this is a dumb bad movie range. Like watchable but dumb bad movie. And I think it should at least be a 7. Probably not much higher than that, but
yeah.
I think it should be like more solidly in the decent movie range.
The only thing in this movie that I pointed at and I was like, well, that's bad.
Oh yeah.
Was they had the CG explosion
and subsequent fire.
And subsequent CG fire. That was very obvious.
Oh man. I was like we were talking about on the way home and we're like, that was easily the worst part of the movie. What I would have done is, since he was like in the car down the street when the explosion happened, I would have had like a shot where you could see Liam Neeson blurry in the rearview mirror, and you could see the cameras like focused on the building, and then as the explosion happens, you shift focus so Liam Neeson's
rack focus.
What's that called?
A rack focus.
Rack focus, so that Liam Neeson is the focus now, and the explosion is blurry. You could have hid a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's ways that they could have hid that, but it's
they could have even built, because this they could have built a like a building facade and actually blown that up, and just shown like, you know, it was already mostly tight, like really tight shots on this building anyway.
And it was like not like the other houses weren't very close to it.
Right. And so it was primarily tight shots on this house anyway. They could have actually built a facade somewhere and ignited that.
Yeah, it would
have been better.
Yeah. That was rough. Like if I were who would like be the one who's reviewing the visual effects shots for a movie? Is that the DP? Who would see that and give it the okay?
Well, no, I mean, it depends. If you have a visual effects supervisor or coordinator, they would be the one to do it.
Well, they probably, I mean, for one visual effects shot, you think? Anyway, if I were the person who like makes that decision, I'd have looked at that and gone, is this the best you can do? And B, is there a way that we can hide this somehow? You know, or hell, you could have just had like a shot looking at Liam Neeson from outside the vehicle, where you can kind of see the reflection of the explosion like on the windshield.
I mean, they have a pyrotechnician and a lead pyrotechnician and a special effects coordinator listed on the cast and crew.
What?
Then you have visual effects producer and visual effects guy. There's only 2 visual effects guys, so I could see why that was.
Yeah, like there's ways that they could have.
So were the pyrotechnicians only there for the shot where he blew up the vault?
Must be, like right in the
beginning where they just puts a small charge inside the vault.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, unless they used them to like build a believable looking fake bomb, maybe. I wonder if maybe they were like there to show Liam Neeson, like, all right, here's how to look like you know what you're doing with making this bomb. So he would use like homemade bombs to blow the safes and stuff. But yeah, it's weird that they have pyrotechnicians on the cast and had such a shitty looking explosion, and the fire that followed it was also really bad.
Yeah, it was all CG.
Like once they blew up the house, they didn't need to show that shot again.
Right. It would have been better if it was a miniature. But
Yep.
Anyway, so that's my one complaint about the movie. Otherwise, I thought the movie was pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, it's got. I mean, I'm happy to see Jeffrey Donovan and stuff. So, never watched Sicario 2. Apparently, he's known for that, according to IMDb.
He was in something where he played like JFK. What was that?
What? Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that was. I just remembered like.
Oh, he was in LBJ.
Oh, okay.
Also, never saw that.
I remember the trailer. I was like, oh hey. So anyway, I guess throw up a spoiler warning now.
He also played Robert Kennedy in J. Edgar.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
That was in 2011, so that was while he was doing Burn Notice still. Oh, also, I never watched Fargo, so I know he's in that. But yeah, so yes, I guess spoiler warning. Even more. Not that there's a lot to spoil.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what was that one? It was yeah, Jai Courtney. His character is a real son of a bitch.
Oh, he was Boomerang?
Yeah.
And Kyle Reese in Genesis?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, he was like really brutal in the like all his scenes. He beat up a woman, almost killed her.
Yep.
Shot his partner. Shot his boss.
Yeah.
There's not really much to spoil. You know that like at the end Liam Neeson's gonna get his revenge and take out the bad guys, and he does presumably actually go to jail for he gets like a plea deal, right? He wants like more than 2 years or something, and
yeah, and he gave all the money back.
Gave all the money back.
And
like Over
2
it was like
years,
$9 million.
2 years with minimum security and visitation rights.
Mm. Conjugal visitation, right?
Yeah, maybe. So I like watching this movie, and I'm just like, Liam Neeson. I feel like is finally showing his age, like in his appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like he just seemed like, it's one of those things where it's like I know he's kind of an older guy, right? He's like in his 60s or 7. He's almost 70. And but like never really looked that old. I'm sure sure a lot of that's like makeup and stuff in the movies, when he films these movies. But in this movie I was watching, I'm just like, he really does seem, just bump the mic there. He really does seem like kind of old now. I think the last thing I saw with him in it was episode 9.
Oh, was voice in it?
Yeah. Had Qui-Gon's voice.
It's funny, I don't know when you bring up IMDb on the phone app and it comes up with like their filmography, it starts to populate it, so it'll be like, like rolls like 10, 20, then like jumps up 140. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like 10. I think it's more than 40. Yeah, seems like more, but it still seems like a lot, I guess.
I think the last thing I actually witnessed him in was Men in Black International.
Whoa, he actually voiced himself in the Clone Wars cartoon?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, alright then. I mean, at the time they were probably like, come on, Liam, what are you doing? Nut Job?
An episode of Orville?
And Anchorman 2. Oh yeah, he was History Channel host. Okay, I remember now. Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds alive on stage, The New Generation. That was right after he did Taken 2.
Okay.
Anyway, so this is the part where normally we tell you, like, here's the movies that are coming up that we're gonna see.
But we don't even know.
I mean, there's a rumor now that, what's it, the new Bond movie called?
Die Another Day?
Die Another Day?
No, that's an old Bond movie.
Yeah.
What's that? What is it called?
No. Anyway, there's a rumor that the new Bond movie is being bid on for streaming rights right now.
And that's a terrible idea.
One of the top bidders. You think that's
No Time
bad?
to Die.
No Time to Die. You think that's bad? Just wait till you hear this part. Supposedly, one of the top bidders is Apple TV.
So, like, if MGM does that, they don't actually want anyone to see this movie?
I can't imagine. Like, it will absolutely lose money because the amount of money that they have to bid for MGM to be willing to do that instead of just delaying it further is going to be so much that there's no way Apple TV earns the money back on that.
I think MGM would be better off just waiting to put it out next year.
Yeah, I think so. So this is all a result of, supposedly Death on the Nile is still scheduled for December 18th.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to compete with Dune anymore, so.
And Wonder Woman's scheduled for the 25th. Did they bump Dune because they moved Wonder Woman?
I think they bumped Dune because they didn't think they would get enough people into the theaters.
Bumped it a whole freaking year, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. I had to push for, like, summer at the latest.
Yeah, like beginning of the summer blockbuster season.
Yeah.
So this is what happens when all y'all just don't go to the theaters, even though they're like soaking all the seats in disinfectant spray all the time.
This is all your fault.
I mean, we've been doing our part. Hell, we're doing our part this weekend. Go see Alita. Alita Battle Angel is going to be in theaters this week. And I don't know, maybe if enough people go to see it, they'll more strongly consider a sequel. Let Edward Norton have his day, man.
Didn't even get to speak. Poor
Yeah.
guy.
I mean, that's fine. I'm just kidding.
I guess.
I don't have that much of a problem with Edward Norton, but
no.
He seems like the kind of guy that would be annoying to work with on a movie because he seems like the kind of guy who's like, I'm an actor, I'm an artiste, and then you're sitting there going like, bro, it's Alita Battle Angel.
I've heard a lot of stories where he can be difficult to work with, but I've also heard that like sometimes he's not difficult, and I guess it all kind of depends on the project and how vested he is. Like if he's really invested in the project, like he can be a pain because he's just got to make sure everything is how he envisions it, despite, maybe he should just direct himself in those cases. But I mean, that's just what I've heard. But then I've heard other stories where he's perfectly fine to work with, and I guess those are situations where he doesn't care as much. But I don't know.
Yeah, so the next movie we're likely to see, assuming these don't get bumped as well, is Free Guy in December, and then Death on the Nile also in December, and Wonder Woman 1984 in December. And that's it for the rest of the year. This year is horseshit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You think Mortal Kombat's gonna happen in January?
No.
Don't think so?
I don't know. I feel like it probably something that's gonna get delayed.
Man, I'm just like going through and like the Kingsman, which is supposed to be out in like July or something like that, scheduled for February now. Antlers was supposed to be in October, right?
Yeah.
That new Ghostbusters movie, was that always next year, or was that supposed to be this year?
I don't know. What, Tom and Jerry?
Adaptation of the... Shouldn't this be adaptation? Adaptation of the classic Hanna-Barbera property, which reveals how Tom and Jerry first meet and form their rivalry.
Okay.
That should totally be adaptation, right?
Yeah.
So, is that a word? Is that an actual word?
Adaption.
Morbius as well in March. Man, this is a bunch of bullshit. So, like, something's got to give. Theaters are going, well, we don't want to, like, open fully and push things, particularly Regal and their parent company. Like, oh, we don't want to open these theaters if there's not going to be any big movies. And the studios are like, well, we're not going to release big movies if there's no theaters to show them in. I mean, I don't know what's going on at Regal, but like the Century Theater or Cinemark Theater that we go to has been pretty busy. Like every time we've gone since things reopened from COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe Regal's like, oh man, no one's coming to our theaters. Must be the COVID thing, and like someone's sitting there going like, could it be the Pepsi and the drinking fountains now? Could that have something to do with it? Like, no, it's got to be the COVID thing. Yeah, but sir, the movie theater over there that has Coke and the drinking fountains.
Soda fountain.
Huh?
The soda fountain.
Soda fountain.
The drinking fountain gets water.
Maybe your drinking fountain. Anyway, maybe
maybe in Shangri-La.
That theater
drinking
over
fountains
there
have Coca-Cola.
The theater over there has Coca-Cola, and they seem to be doing all right.
Maybe Cinemark has better selection of the old movies they're showing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's super frustrating for us. So like anytime that there's one of these older movies that we're interested in seeing, like we pay the $5 a ticket and go see it because we want theater. Like if Cinemark decides to close as well, then like then absolutely all these movies are getting bumped.
We got to prove to theaters that it's not just that we want to see the new movies. We want to see movies in theaters.
Yeah.
So you got to go to the old movies as well to show that it's the theater experience that we want, not the...
Which, dude, that showing of Empire Strikes Back was pretty packed. I mean, as packed as it can be with leaving 2 seats between every group.
Right, but yeah, I think we pretty much filled it otherwise.
Yeah, there was, like, the whole area in the front section was pretty filled.
Plus, there were a few showings of it, right?
Yeah. And that showing of Raiders of the Lost Ark was pretty packed as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Alita will be packed.
I hope so.
I mean, there was only 2 seats taken when I bought tickets.
But that's almost a week away.
Yeah.
Almost half a week away, anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, so go watch movies. Go watch Honest Thief. Go watch Tenet again. You could probably use another watch through anyway.
Yeah, I defy anyone to completely grasp that movie the first viewing.
The highest grossing superhero movie in 2020 was Sonic the Hedgehog. Just throwing that out there.
Although I am eagerly awaiting the second.
Yeah, I mean, not saying it's a bad movie, but
like, it should have been Black Widow.
It should have been
Black Widow or Wonder Woman.
It might still be Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't bump Wonder Woman again.
That's true.
We'll see. But anyway, so until next time, whenever that is. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, bye.
Toodles.